After falling short in Frisco, the ACU football team takes on Gorillas in the mist today in Kansas. I'm Kara Stutzman.
I saw the forecast. It is a little rainy. I'm Grant Boone. We'll look back at that double trouble in DFW and preview ACU's first trip to the jungle. We're not monkeying around. It's the Ken Collums Show right now. Welcome into Studio D1 here on the campus of Abilene Christian University, the Ken Collums Show, week number 6. I'm Grant Boone, joined by senior broadcast journalism major Kara Stutzman and head football coach at ACU, Ken Collums. Tonight, Coach, your team has a first-time experience taking on Pitt State in what they call the jungle. They're at Pittsburgh, Kansas, taking on the Gorillas. Almost played Pitt State in 2011 in the playoffs. We lost a close one to Washburn. Would have played them the next week. Sure. I know you appreciate the history and the tradition they've got going on there. They're the winningest D2 football team of all time. Should be a big day.
It should be. I mean, we're about to walk into the jungle. and when you say the college football, Pitt State comes to mind. I don't care what division it is, whether it's FBS, FCS, D2. It doesn't necessarily matter. They've done well for years. They've got a respected program, and you don't do that by just being good every now and then. You do it by building a dynasty and being consistent and staying relevant every single year, and that's what they do. And when you look at video, I mean that's good touchy-feely surface stuff. When you look at video, you figure out why. They've got some guys that can play, and they're very good again this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run at a national championship this year.
Coach, y'all played Pitt State this weekend, but last weekend you played Tarleton and rallied from a 14-0 deficit and actually took them into a double overtime. What does that say about the character of your team that you guys just kept fighting even from that great of a deficit?
Well, that game, it showed what our character is, and it showed what's going to happen when you don't play clean enough. I mean, you're going to do some good things, you're going to do some not so good things. Coming back from a 14-0 deficit, I mean that doesn't surprise me. We've got high character kids. We've got solid guys that don't freak out. They don't panic when things go because we prepare them. When you play good teams, guess what? They're going to make some plays. So don't get all freaked out. Come to the sideline. Let's talk about it and get it figured out. And our guys have enough poise to be able to do that. And we're a quality enough team to. If it was 21-0, I told them on the sideline, hey, 14 points is not going to beat us anyway. So let's. Don't just chill out and let's go out and play Wildcat football.
Just the third multiple overtime game that ACU has ever played. With a look back at how it happened, here is Ken Collums Show contributor Matt Sloan.
The ACU football team traveled to Frisco to take on longtime Lone Star Conference foe Tarleton State. The Texans would jump out to an early lead.
Judge, I think, had him short. It was a good tackle by Withrow. Play action, looking down the middle, and there is a wide-open receiver near the goal line. Touchdown, Tarleton State. 11th catch of the season for the junior. From DeSoto, quick throw right side, intercepted and going the other way for a pick six. All the way for a touchdown. It's Desmond Jackson, and the first interception thrown this year by John David Baker.
But ACU would fight back with a second quarter field goal. Then Keith Barnett pounces on the first of 3 Tarleton fumbles on the afternoon, giving the ball back to ACU with a chance to narrow the Texan gap even more.
Gabriel goes in motion. We've seen them hand it off to him. Instead, play action, rolling right into the end zone. Caught! Jonathan Parker's first career touchdown. Couldn't have come at a better time.
But just before halftime, the Texans would cap their drive with a rushing touchdown, giving them a 21-10 lead going into the break.
Baker under center. The tailback is Shark. A handoff to him. Up the middle, leans forward. A touchdown. Sharkhandrick West.
In the fourth quarter, here come the Wildcats. DeMarcus Thompson climbs the ladder to convert a huge third down and set up this play.
Baker in the gun, takes the snap. He's going to run right, design run. Back to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Running touchdown for John David Baker. For left, Finsky in the shotgun. 4-man rush for ASU. Richardson coming. It's a screen. Intercepted. Nick Finney held on. Nick Finney with the interception on a screen. Goes to the left side of the line at tight end. It's a handoff up the middle. Shark into the end zone. Touchdown and the lead for ACU.
But in the closing seconds of regulation, Tarleton State would knock one between the sticks to tie up the game. Then in the second overtime, the Texans would power their way into the end zone and claim the victory 41-34.
Abilene, the secret is out. Holy Cow has the best burgers in town. How'd they do it? Fresh, all-natural ingredients, their secret spices, and quality meat that's never frozen. Enjoy our free and unique toppings from grilled bell peppers to jalapenos to grilled mushrooms and sautéed onions. And don't forget to add our homemade french fries and onion rings made fresh daily. Visit us on Judge Ely or our new South 14th location. Holy Cow Burgers, Rings, and Things.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to the Ken Collums Show. Earlier we saw highlights of that 41-34 double overtime loss to Tarleton State. Coach, it was a weird start to the game. I mean, it just poured. It was like a monsoon about an hour before the game. They've got the squeegees out at Toyota Stadium. And then you guys get the ball first. You convert on a 4th and short right around midfield. You go for it again on 4th down because you're kind of in that zone, weren't you, where you weren't sure whether you could get a clean swipe at a field goal, right?
Yeah, normally we would have kicked that, but when I looked out and saw him squeegeeing off the water before the game, it was like, you know what, I don't know that I want to do that to my kicker. Because if something breaks down as far as his footing or something, I don't want that to bother him later in the game, so we just went for it.
Yeah, went for it, didn't get it. You forced them into a punt. You guys don't score on your second offensive possession, and then they get a touchdown on a pass to a really good-looking young freshman wide receiver, Bubba Tandy. Then your next possession, after playing cleanly the first 4+ games of the season, John David Baker throws his first interception of the year. Turned out to be a huge play. It was picked off by Desmond Jackson. He ran it back in for a touchdown. That was a strange-looking play. You were telling me later, after you seeing it on film, you're not sure he ever saw the defensive back.
No, I'm quite sure he didn't see him. And you know, we're trying to throw a short pass to Taylor, and you know, the guy made a great play. And you know, normally that's a knockdown ball that's just stuck in his hands. You see that every now and then, and it's just like, wow. But the guy made a good play.
Yeah. I can think about a Tarleton game with Aston Whiteside, who made a play not unlike that, where he got his hands up in the air.
He juggled it a little bit.
He juggled his, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So you guys are down 14-0. It's the end of the first quarter. You're coming off the loss the week before, and it's kind of gray. You know, it just like nothing was really going very well for you. Then you put a drive together. Nick Grau, your freshman kicker, who's been pretty good this year. He's only missed one field goal. He gets you on the board, and then you get a stop and a score. And now it felt like things were settling down. Did it feel like that to you?
Well, we just knew it was a matter of time, you know, before we started scoring, and because that's what we're going to do. And I told the guys when we got to the sideline, you know, it's going to take way more than 14 to beat us, and we just got to get things together and don't worry about the interception. I told John David, you know what, you didn't do anything wrong. The guy just made a good play. The pass wasn't good. You didn't even see the guy, so. Not making excuses for him, but that's sometimes that happens as a quarterback. When you throw the ball as much as we do, sometimes that's going to happen. And you know, he shook it off and played fine the rest of the game. But Nick Grau's been solid, and he'll continue to kick field goals. We've just got to get the ball in the red zone. I'd rather it be extra points.
Sure. You
know, so and that was a big emphasis on Thursday. Is hey, how do we finish drives? And you know, that's when we do most of our red zone planning.
Yeah, one of the reasons why Matt Adams maybe wasn't the all-time leading scorer at ASU is because he was kicking a lot of one-pointers, not three-pointers, because you guys are getting in the end zone so often. So they get a touchdown late first half, and it's 21-10. You're going to the locker room. You come back, though. You get the first score of the third quarter. They answer with a score. So now it's 28-17. You're going to the fourth quarter. You're down 11 points. You guys have been in that position against Tarleton, down double digits, and you'd come back to win it. You get a big play from John David Baker. In fact, it's going to be our play of the game. Let's take a look here at John David Baker. We were in the Metroplex, so this was his best Tony Romo. This was a play where he kind of took nothing and made something of it. And this is kind of something he brings that the previous two guys really didn't have much of.
That's right. That's right. You know, we had put in a brand new center. Something happened to our starting center. We put in another guy, and of course he wasn't sharp and rockets it over his head. But John David's got enough poise and enough athletic ability to make that play.
As a quarterback, and you played it on the high school level and at the college level, you won championships at both levels, there is a fraction of a second where you have to make a decision. Am I going to pick this thing up and try to do something with it, or am I going to fall on it? That's a tough decision to make with not much time to think about it, isn't it?
You bet. And that just goes to show you what the awareness that John David has when he's out there. He's not out there just handing the ball off and slinging it here. Hey, I think I'll throw it to the field here. I may want to throw it to Taylor this time. There is a process that he goes through as far as his preparation. You can prepare guys, and quarterbacks are prepared all across the country. Some go out and play really well, and some don't. And the thing is if you have a knack and an awareness and poise and your football IQ is where it should be, then you're able to do it. The guys that continue to struggle are guys that can't. There are a lot of good coaches out there, but JD just has the ability to go out, you know what, I'm going to keep it together, don't freak out, let's make a play.
Yeah, and we always hear about a quarterback having a clock in his head.
That's right.
And he knew, I've got that split second. You get a touchdown right after that play. You get within 4. You come back, you take the lead. Nick Finney with a great defensive line interception to move you in front. They come back and they force overtime. Jerome Regal, 251 yards rushing on 31 carries. They ran as a team for almost 300 yards. Are you surprised at how well and how effectively they ran the football?
I am surprised because anytime you don't expect, well, you know what, I think we're going to let a team rush for over almost 300 yards. I would have told you we're going to beat by 21 points. You know that because you don't do that. And sometimes it was really good runs that Jerome made. Mm-hmm. And there are times where we were not quite sharp on on compressing, on filling gaps as far as safeties and outside backers, but they had something to do with it, and they've ran the ball well this year, and I could see them running the ball fine out of their 4 wide set. Regal does a really good job. He's really patient at running the ball, but there's no excuse for giving up that kind of yards. I mean that's not defensive football, and we've taken steps to fix that. Problem is Pitt State is a better running team than Tarleton.
Yeah, and we'll look at that Pitt State matchup a little bit later on. You guys allow a field goal at the buzzer to send it to overtime. We get into the second overtime period after you guys go for it you go for a field goal on 4th and basically 18 inches to a couple of feet.
Sure.
How tough was that decision? Because you wound up kicking the field goal and you made it.
Yeah, and it was really tough. As a former offensive coordinator, my thing is, all right, let's go, let's do it, let's go. I've got the play. Well, we had gotten into some big sets earlier, and it didn't work out like the way that we wanted. So that kind of sticks in your mind. And hey, I don't know if this is the smartest thing. I know we can get 3 here, which the kicking angle for a left footer was not that easy anyway.
It was not.
No, and so we just decided, you know what? If we don't feel good about it, let's take the 3 points and play defense.
Yeah, and you did. You forced them to kick a field goal. They did, and then in the second overtime, they got the big win. And then all chaos broke loose on that last play where you're trying laterals and penalties were called, and you wound up losing by 7. Chance to get back on the winning track today. When we come back on the Ken Collums Show, we'll send it up to the JMC Network Sports Desk for a look at what's happening around the rest of the ASU sports world. For now, take a look at some of the scores from last week in the Southland Conference.
Abilene and Big Country shoppers, if you're looking to upgrade to a new Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, or GMC, car, truck, or SUV, Lawrence Hall in Abilene is the best place to shop. You'll find the largest selection in West Texas, including the incredible new 2014 trucks from Chevy and GMC to great fuel-efficient cars with over 15 models rated 30 mpg or higher. So shop at home and save. At Lawrence Hall in Abilene, you won't find a better deal in any direction.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Welcome back to the Ken Collums Show. Earlier this week, I got to catch up with ACU's defensive end, Rob Boyd. He does a pretty good impression of one of the coaches. Take a look.
Well, growing up, I wasn't really good at any other sports. Baseball, soccer, none of that. And when I got to 7th grade, that's what all my buddies were doing, and I didn't play Pee-wee football, so I thought, well, this is my time to start, and I was actually decent at it, so I kept at it, and all throughout high school, I got better and better as the years went on, and had really good coaches, and was just blessed by their leadership. And if you're good at it, you just want to naturally keep on doing it.
What do you like about ACU?
Well, that's a lot. I really like ACU and everything it has to offer. Some things, the coaches are really great. They're good men. I really value how they recruit guys. Mm-hmm. They shoot them straight, and when you get here, it's not like, oh well, who's that guy that recruited me? And it's really this. They're true characters. I think it's a good way to put it, and that means a lot to players. I think when you're not dealing with sort of a two-faced type of guy.
What did your parents think about you first going to Sam Houston and then transferring to ACU? Were they excited that you decided to transfer to ACU?
They've always been very supportive of whatever decisions I've made. They mainly just wanted me to be happy and where I was, and because that means a lot. I mean, everybody knows that college is some of the best years of your life, and if you're not enjoying it, then you're just kind of wasting them away.
Can you do your best Roboto impression for me?
Ooh, I'm not so much of a Roboto guy, I'm more of an Overland.
Oh, go for it.
Hey, well, guys, I'm going to get started today. I want you to get some empty can, open can, open your shoulders up, get them nice and loose.
If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
I would be a bear.
Why would you be a bear?
Well, bears don't have any natural predators. You get to hang out in the river and catch salmon all day. Mm-hmm. You get to sleep for a long time and hibernate, which sounds great. Lots of reasons.
ACU soccer is still going strong even after last week's loss to Nicholls State. More on that and the other sports on campus with the JMC Network Sportscast.
Welcome to the JMC Network Sportscast. I'm Sharani Murawski. ACU softball started their fall practice this week. Head coach Bobby Reeves talked about how the shift to Division I has affected the team so far and how the freshmen are adjusting.
You know, we've been at it for about 3 weeks now, and we get a 45-day period in which we can do team workouts, and we finish up on October the 19th. You know, we kind of had a little bit of a slow start, but things are starting to come together. We've got a lot of young kids, and pretty exciting time right now.
The baseball team will get their first taste of Division I action next week when they take on TCU. Head coach Britt Bonneau is excited for the challenge and ready to watch his young team compete.
The positive things that I'm seeing is the freshmen have a lot of energy. These new guys, they come in, they're big, they're strong, they're anxious to get out there and play. And so you have that also, that high energy of this new thing that we're about to get into, this Division I season. And so that kind of takes everybody to another level. And so there's a lot of positives in that as well.
ACU soccer takes on Central Arkansas this weekend in Abilene after their first loss of the season to Nicholls State University. Senior J.C. Ferreira talked about how the team will use this loss to their advantage going forward.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of starting to get nervous because the more games you win, the more pressure you feel if there's going to be a loss. And I think that was a good time for us to lose, honestly. I think it kind of woke us up. I think it recharged us and helped us refocus. And yeah, I would say there's a little bit of pressure off. So I think it helped us.
Soccer team's transition to Division I has been smooth so far, putting the Wildcats near the top of the Southland Conference. Head coach Casey Wilson thinks their success should continue for the rest of the season because of the talent his team has.
Well, you know, I guess each sport could be different as far as how they integrate into the Southland Conference. I feel like the game, the type of game we play, we were going to be competitive, and just the scoring nature of soccer, I think that it should make you competitive right away anyway. I think that right now that as far as the competition goes, I think we should be able to play with just about everybody, you know, at a very high competitive level.
For Matthew Sloan, I'm Sharon Morosky. Thanks for watching the JMC Network Sportscast. Be sure to join us again next week.
When we get back, we'll take a look at the other teams in the Southland Conference, as well as preview ACU's trip back to my hometown area for a game against the Gorillas. So stay with us on the Ken Collums Show.
Abilene, the secret is out. Holy Cow has the best burgers in town. How'd they do it? Fresh, all-natural ingredients, their secret spices, and quality meat that's never frozen. Enjoy our free and unique toppings from grilled bell peppers to jalapenos to grilled mushrooms and sauteed onions. And don't forget to add our homemade french fries and onion rings made fresh daily. Visit us on Judge Ely or our new South 14th location. Holy Cow Burgers, Rings, and Things.
Abilene and Big Country shoppers, if you're looking to upgrade to a new Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, or GMC, car, truck, or SUV, Lawrence Hall in Abilene is the best place to shop. You'll find the largest selection in West Texas, including the incredible new 2014 trucks from Chevy and GMC to great fuel-efficient cars with over 15 models rated 30 mpg or higher. So shop at home and save. At Lawrence Hall in Abilene, you won't find a better deal in any direction.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Welcome back to the Ken Collums Show. Let's take a look at some of the games around the Southland Conference this week. Coach McNeese State, they've had a good start to the season. They go back to your alma mater, Central Arkansas, right there in Conway. Should be a good one.
That's right. I think the Bears will be ready, but I tell you what, this year when you look at just what McNeese has down there, they're pretty scary.
Mm-hmm. We'll see them soon enough.
Yes.
Well, Coach, you have Pitt State tonight. You're actually going about 20 minutes from my house. I grew up in that area. Pitt State won the national championship just 2 years ago, and my Facebook page blew up with all of the response from that crowd. And the crowd is going to be absolutely insane. Very much it's been compared to Arrowhead from some of my friends that go to the games, and Arrowhead is a loud stadium if you've never been there. What is it going to be like walking into that atmosphere? How have you prepared your players for that?
Well, we think it'll probably be similar to the Illinois State situation, because it's, you know, we're in buses, we're driving up to the stadium, and there are people hanging around all over the place. I mean, it's a great atmosphere, people having a good time, enjoying the stadium, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying each other, and but they'll probably enjoy harassing us a little bit and being as loud as they can. So the whole thing is going to be fun. When you go into hostile territory, I mean, as a man, that kind of gets you going a little bit extra, and which is kind of sick. But that's, you know what, have people fussing at you, throwing stuff maybe, but you know what, that's competition, and our guys will rise up and we'll do fine because of that.
Well, I think Pittsburgh, Kansas has, what, 20,000 people in the entire town. They'll have 12,000 later this afternoon for what is going to be their homecoming game. Yes. So that'll be big. Let's talk about the game itself, your offense versus their defense. First 3 games of the season, in large part because you guys got out to huge leads, you were running it twice as much as you were throwing it. Last couple of weeks you got behind, you had to throw a little bit more, and it's been the opposite, kind of 2-to-1 in terms of passing versus run. You've struggled to run the football the last couple of games against some good defensive fronts. Tarleton last week, Illinois State the week before. The Pittsburgh State defense is solid, led by a really good linebacker, a guy that they think could go pro, Nate Dreiling, who by the time this season's over probably is going to not only be the Pittsburgh State all-time leading tackler, but maybe the leading tackler in the history of the MIAA.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. When you watch their defense on tape, I mean, they're big. They can run. They're really sound in what they do. They do just enough as far as change-ups to make your quarterback have to be really, really sharp. They hit quarterbacks really hard, and because when guys are not sharp, that's what happens versus blitz. And but they you know, we're going to have to be sharp to run the football, and you know, that's when you run up against a good defensive front and good linebackers, that's always the struggle.
Well, their offense is also done fantastic this year. They average 57 points a game, as well as yards. They have twice as many yards as their opponents do. 4-0 on the season, 2-0 at home. Now, on the other side, ACU's defense has also done fantastic with guys like Angel Lopez, Thor Warner, and Rob Boyd. What have you told your defense and those guys to kind of stop this dominating offense?
Well, we know this. There's no major or magic formula to it. As we found out last week, if you struggle running the ball and you can't stop the run consistently, then you're going to struggle winning the game. And these guys, you know, at Pitt State, it's almost like they created the run game. I mean, they know how to run the ball. They have for years. And so our guys know that, and we're planning to stop the run. The problem is they've got two really good receivers that will kind of dice you up if you're not sharp. And we'll have a good plan together defensively. And you know, guys like Angel and Thor, hey, they better hook it up, because it's going to be a great atmosphere against great competitors, and we got to be able to rise up to slow down their offense.
Tougher challenge without Justin Stevens. He won't play on Saturday, right?
Will not play.
Yeah.
Will not play.
That'll be tough, the junior linebacker from Fort Worth. Should be a fun atmosphere. 2 o'clock kickoff. Lance Fleming and I will have the radio pregame show at 1:30 p.m. today. Homecoming at Pitt State. There'll be a small but feisty contingent of ACU fans up there as well to cheer on the Wildcats as they try to get back on the winning track. For Kara Stutzman and for Coach Ken Collums, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Ken Collums Show. You can see it every week during football season right here on K-Texas and on ACUoptimist.com. See you next week.